Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, a few days ago now I got an email from a viewer called Steve who asked me if I'd like to buy his wife's car. It was a 2009, well a late 2009 59 Audi A3 Convertible. He sent me some photographs and it looked quite tidy. It's done 102,000 miles and it's a 1.6 litre petrol S-Line. He said that they'd owned it for a good number of years, the service history was pretty good, so I thought, well yeah, this is decent stock for me really. The next thing I did then was do some research and I couldn't believe how little they were worth. This is the thing, in my head, the Audi A3 Convertible is still a modern car. It's hard to believe it's nearly 16 years old. I asked Steve how much he wanted and he said £1,600. I did some research and we eventually agreed £1,500. And that's pretty much it really. I've always quite liked the Audi A3 Convertible. I've had a good number of them over the years and yeah, I always thought they were quite a cute little car. It's been dropped off for me this morning on my car park, so like I say, I haven't actually seen it in person yet. I'm quite excited to see what it's like. I'm hoping I can sell this one for a profit. If I can't profit from a cheap Audi A3 Convertible, then there's something seriously wrong. I was just thinking, I've paid £1,500 for it. If I give myself a budget of maybe £500, give it a service, MOT, a good clean, fresh set of reg plates, then it should be worth £3 grand, 3,295, something like that. I had a quick look on Auto Trader and they start at around 2.5 grand, but for 2.5 grand you're going to get a very high mileage one and maybe not an S-Line. So I think its retail figure is somewhere between 3 and 3.5. I need to check through the history and see if this has had a cam belt done. Now this should have had its cam belt done at, what do you think, 2009? Probably 2018, 2019, something like that. If it hasn't had one done, I'm gonna have to do one. That's gonna cost me about 400 quid. So I'm just hoping it has. Traffic's bad today. Anyway, all being well, I'm hoping if I can spend £500 on this, not a penny more, I should be able to make about £1,000 profit. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. Anyway, we're not too far away now, so I shall see you there. Well, we're here. The Wonder Grip van's here as well. It's a result, isn't it? That looks pretty good, actually. It's quite a nice colour grey. It's got the nicer wheels because it's the S-Line model. The fabric top needs a good wash, actually, so I'll take this to Tameside Detail and let them clean it all up for me. But that looks very tidy, actually. Very tidy indeed. It must have, oh yeah, it did have a private plate on it. Right, so Steve took the private plate off so it can go back on its 59 reg. So I'll order some new plates. That'll improve things. Give it a good valet. Tyres look okay. This all looks pretty good, actually. Quite tidy. It's mad that you can buy a car like that for £1,500, isn't it? 1,500 quid. I'd run around in something like that, to be honest. It's half decent. Right, as always then, we're going to check this out using Car Vertical. Now it's really important that you do one of these checks before you hand over any cash for a used car or motorbike. So all you need to do is go to carvertical.com. Let me demonstrate. Right, we're on carvertical.com and you type in the reg or the VIN. Now in this case we don't know the reg, so we'll type in the VIN. Now, I can get this from the logbook. I've got a picture of it. Hang on a second, let me copy and paste this. And what this does, it checks databases in dozens of countries. So it'll tell us if it's ever been stolen, written off, had a mileage rollback, or has a standing finance on it. There are so many dodgy cars out there, I'd hate for you to end up buying one. So it's really important that you do one of these checks. It doesn't take long, as you can see, and it isn't expensive either. And it's cheaper still if you use my promo code HIGHPEAK. That's HIGHPEAK, all one word, HIGHPEAK. And you'll save yourself 20% off each and every check that you do. And you can use that promo code as many times as you like. It's not just a one-time thing. This will also show us the spec of the car, the MOT history, the ownership changes, all that sort of stuff. Right, so the report's ready. 45 plus countries were checked. So, it's never had a mileage rollback. There's no outstanding finance. There's no recorded accident damage. So we're clear on all four fronts. Or sorry, all three fronts. It's had 3 owners, 3 previous owners. Theft, so it's never been stolen. That's good. We've got a mileage sort of timeline here on a graph. The last recorded mileage in July last year was 101,789. That's all right then. That was its last MOT. No recorded damage. Average market price for such a vehicle. I'll tell you what, I should do this for a living, shouldn't I really? The average market price for such a vehicle is 3,108, which is exactly what I said, wasn't it? I think I could get, now I've seen it, providing it drives okay, I think I could get 3.2 for that all day long. Shows you the road tax there. So it's an Audi A3 Convertible 1.6, so it's quite insurable. 101 brake horsepower, front wheel drive, grey, right hand drive. We've got the spec here as well. Okay, last owner's had it for 4 years. we're all good then, really. Let's go down to its most recent MOT then and see if there are any advisory items. So it passed its MOT last July with a couple of advisory items, 2 minor and 1 advisory. So rear inner position lamp with multiple light source up to half not functioning. That'll be the LEDs, I imagine. Offside front repeater lens defective, which has no effect on emitted light mirror. Don't know what that means. And also near side front tyre worn close to legal limit on edge. Let's have a butcher's, shall we, from a couple of metres. I mean, it doesn't look worn, but we can always put a new tyre on if necessary. So that's pretty good, really. Let's go and have a look in person then, shall we? Park up this S5, which is actually a similar colour grey. Right then, let's go and look at this Audi A3. Quite a nice day to buy a convertible, isn't it? So, there she is. Bodywork looks pretty good. These wheels are quite nice, not badly damaged. We've got a sail wind tyre on the back, on about 4mm of tread. Brake discs look okay. The backing plate looks a bit grim, but we can sort that out if it's a problem. Looks quite straight down the panels. The panel gaps are good. Can do a little touch in there where someone's opened it onto a wall or something. All looks quite tidy though. That can be clipped back in. You can pop that back in. Might need a new indicator lens there on the mirror. Down here then, I think we need 2 front tyres actually, because a little bit of cracking around the edge there. And they're only on about 3mm of tread, so I think we'll get a new driver's side tyre, and the passenger side tyre was advised anyway, so then we'll get those replaced. A little crack there on the front grille. Overall though, it is quite tidy. It's quite a tidy car really. Considering it's done 102,000 miles, the bonnet isn't chippy. Windscreen's not chippy either, that's good. For some reason, Audi A3s always get this mark on the windscreen. It's like the wiper doesn't fit properly or something. Always leaves that sort of that streak. I've only seen it on Audi A3s for some reason. This tyre then has got it's an Aptani. There's a little bit of wear on the edge there, but not too bad. Wheels a little bit curved, but again, for a 16-year-old car, it's not bad at all, really. I think I'll order some touch-up paint for it, the correct colour from Audi, and then do some touch-ins. Yeah, this roof wants a proper clean though. It's full of like mouldy stuff, like it's been parked under a tree. But I think the lads over at Tameside Detailing will do a nice job of that. The other rear tyre is a Landsail on about 4mm of tread. That's all right then. It's only front-wheel drive this, so I'm not too concerned about the odd tyres on the axle. Won't make any difference. So it's a 1.6 petrol. The peculiar thing about these, I've only got the one key as well, by the way. Yeah, right. Trying to get into the boot and I was pressing the wrong button. I always thought it was weird that the boot opens upwards because it gives you like a weird angle to load things in. I always thought it would have been better if it dropped down like a Mini Cooper convertible. Slight observation there. See what I mean about the awkward sort of, because it lifts up like that, it's just quite awkward to get things in and out of. Whereas if it dropped down like a Mini or a Range Rover, I just think it'd be better. It's quite clean really. You can fold the rear seats down as well, so it's a bit more practical. Now I assume the roof works. Should never assume, should I really, but a little bit of wear on the bolster. So it's got a half leather, half cloth interior, S-line seats. Just wants a good old clean really. It's not bad at all. Got DRLs. What else can I tell you? Got the aluminium trim, that's all right. We've got 21 pence. Gets better and better this, doesn't it? Let's have a look under the bonnet then, shall we? Right, well that all looks quite clean, doesn't it? Chassis legs are straight, so it's not had a whack. Everything's covered in plastic and stuff, but The oil filter looks, well, it doesn't look ancient. Looks like it's been replaced in the last couple of years. No obvious oil leaks that I can see, but everything's covered in plastic. Yeah, well, looks okay really. I can't see a sticker to say it's had a cam belt done. It's made in Hungary. Okay then. Have we got the same? Yeah, okay, right. Let's check through the history. It's mad this is a £1,500 car, really. So we've got a wallet here from Audi with the brochure in and on owner's manual and all that stuff. Got a service book, this is what we're looking for. So it's come from Swansea Audi originally. So it was serviced by Audi in Swansea at 10,000 miles, 18,000 miles. Then again at 20,000 miles, then 24, then 41. Toothed belt is what we're looking for, toothed belt. Had another one by a Jaguar specialist in 56. That's decent history then, really. Then there was a bit of a gap. So it was last done in 2016, then it was done again in 2020, so 4 years there in between the services, which isn't great, but at least somebody caught up with it, I suppose. What else? No mention of a toothed belt there. No mention of a toothed belt anywhere. Another one there at 98, then another one at 101. Sturgis Motor Company, C invoice attached. That was done at 101. That was its last MOT then, wasn't it? 30th of July 24. Okay. Oh, right, got that. Ah, that's good news then. This is very good news. So in 2021, at 95,000 miles, it had a new water pump and timing belt. That's the result. Replacement of water pump and timing belt. Replacement of auxiliary belt with AC. Replacement of antifreeze, £235. That was done at, does it say the mileage? Yeah, the mileage there. Audi A3 S-Line, 101 brake horsepower, 95,000 miles. That is a result. That's great news. And then we've got the bill here for the parts. New timing belt, new water pump. That's all good. This is great news, actually. Replacement ball joints. We've got a service here, done in 21. That's good news then. Another service here. It's had a battery at some point. This is all great news, actually. That's cheered me up. Let's try the old roof then, shall we? In fact, let's have a look on the glove compartment. We've got 2 pens and a locking wheel nut. It's a 5-speed manual. Got a can of Diet Coke there. Just needs a good old clean, this really. An auxiliary port. This would have been a very desirable car 10 years ago. So, my engine light comes on and then goes... Does it go off or not? Clutch feels nice. Got radio 2 on. No CD, that's good. See if my air conditioning works. It's done 102,000 miles, 470. No warning lights on at all. The engine sounds quite sweet. I'm quite pleased with this, you know. Let's try the roof then. So, all we need to do then, I think, is press and hold this little lever. This little button. Well, it's making all the right noise. There we go, look at this. Quite impressed. Oh yes, perfect. And then back up again. There we go. She works. Will my windows go back up or not? I'd have thought my windows should have gone up then, really. that right? Have we completed the cycle there or not? Try that again then. So my little lights on the dash there to say my windows, my roof's going down. And then the windows go back up. That's fine. Then the reverse, press and hold this again. The roof's coming back up. That latch is in place. That's not quite latching there, is it? Hang on a second. Right, we've got a slight problem here. Hang on a second. How can I do this whilst holding the camera? This little latch here, this little sort of piece here, this hook, isn't latching properly. I think it needs lubricating or adjusting. Let's try this again, hang on. There we go, right. Right, that needs a minor sort of adjustment, that little tweak. I think then really guys, we need to get this on the road, don't we? See how it drives. Clutch feels good though, nice and light. Gearbox is good. Okay, let's get it on the road. In fact, you know what? I've just realised the plates aren't on this car. In order to drive it on the road then, I'm going to need my trade plates. Let me nip back to the garage and get my trade plates. I'll see you in a sec. Well, I'm quite impressed with this car so far. I've got a single warning light on. Let's see how it drives. I think then we're into a new indicator, 2 front tyres, a service, an MOT, and a good valet, and a set of reg plates. What's that going to cost me? Tyres will be about £80 each, I suppose, 70 or 80 quid. Plates are 15, valet's 70. I think my £500 budget is looking all right, really. And I think, especially given that we're now in sort of springtime, aren't we? I think this could be a 3295 car. It does look like a bit of a bargain, doesn't it, really? Or in my mind anyway, because like I say, in my mind, this is still a new car. Especially now I know the cam belt's been done. That's great news. Well, it pulls all right. I mean, it's 101 horsepower, so it's not the quickest thing ever, but this would be a good sort of second car for somebody, wouldn't it? Do you know what I mean? The first car was a Fiesta or a Fiat 500, and the second car could be this. Or am I talking nonsense? It's all right, this. We're in 5th gear. It's not tight to get in gear. There's no crunches. The gearbox is pretty good. Clutch feels good. Brakes are all right. My brakes aren't grinding. My air conditioning works. You know, this is a half decent car, really. I think by the time this hood looks nice and black again, then we're in profit here, guys. Don't want to speak too soon, but I think we are. Just noticed my driver's mirror isn't quite clipped in properly. I need to fiddle around with that, really. Pop the new indicator in and then fiddle with it and get it seated properly. I also need to fix the roof. Just sort of play around with that hook, really, and lubricate it all. And we should be pretty good, I suppose. What should I do first then? I suppose first thing, I need to get this down to my mechanics, don't I? Run it down there, order 2 new tyres and an indicator, and have the service and MOT done. In between all that, I'll call Harrods and order the plates. Then when it's done there, I'll take it to the valeters. And then, yeah, photograph it and advertise it. This could be a nice quick turnaround. I don't even like to say that. What usually happens when I say something foolish like that is we'll cut to like 2026 and it'll be me saying, well, I finally got it sorted. But no, I think we're all right here. I think we're all right. And I've only driven it for 1.5 miles, but there's no smoke out the back, no warning lights on, steering feels fine, clutch, gearbox, brakes, all good. It's also quite solid over the bumps. It's not knocking or rattling or loose. It's all quite tight, really.
First 2 with the added bonus of David Faber's arrangements.
My Audi concept radio works fine, as does the air conditioning. The only thing I've noticed that doesn't work, now this brakes on all Audis. Every single Audi from this era that's got this adjustable armrest, the top part of the armrest always breaks. What you end up with is, you ready for this? This. The clips, the plastic clips break at the back. It's all a bit naff, really. There's no way of fixing it. You've got to replace it. I could have a look on eBay and see if I could find a replacement, but in all honesty, I don't think it's that important, really. There we go. Still works as an armrest. You just got to be careful with it. But then it's a 16-year-old car, so I can't go too mad with it. Well, I think, guys, that's about it. I've just noticed a rattle, but I think it's coming from my de-icer tin. Deal. Yeah, leave it with me then. I should have this done in, what should we say, a week? Give me 1 week. And I'll have this spun around and looking nice and pretty. Who knows, by the time we speak again, this might even be sold. Stranger things have happened. Right, so wish me luck. I'll see you in a bit. And we're back in my cheap Audi A3 Convertible, which is now serviced, MOT'd, and ready for sale. You'll be pleased to hear I haven't massively overspent on this. I say you'll be pleased to hear, you probably couldn't care less, to be fair, but my accountant will be pleased to hear I haven't massively overspent anyway. It turns out, as I thought, it was quite a good car, this. There were no nasty surprises. So after we last spoke, I took it down to our mechanics for a service and an MOT and 2 new tyres. If you remember, the front 2 tyres were quite bald. In fact, they reminded me of that guy that used to present the Crystal Maze. Anyway, they were replaced. It also had a service and MOT with not a single advisory item. So, happy days, really. In between all this, I got the paperwork back and put the correct reg plates on it. So it's now on its 59 reg, which I think looks a whole lot better, really. I didn't bother replacing the front grille. You might think I'm cutting corners there, but I didn't think it was too bad. I didn't think it was warrant spending the extra money on, to be honest. It looks quite presentable as it is. From the mechanics, the next job was to get it cleaned. Now, the roof was a bit of a state. It needed a very thorough clean and jet wash. So I took it over to the lads at Tameside Detailing, who spent ages cleaning the roof and cleaning the car. They've done a really good job. It now looks perfectly presentable. In fact, you'd struggle to believe this is a 16-year-old car. It's amazing, isn't it, that, really? Makes me feel very old. Excuse me, by the way, today I'm full of a cold. I feel dreadful. I certainly won't be driving this with the roof down today. Catch pneumonia or something. It's quite a pleasant little car, this, actually, so I'm quite confident it'll sell quite quickly. As soon as it was ready at Tameside Detailing, I got it back to the garage, took some photographs of it, and I've got it advertised. I've written a nice little advert for it, and I've advertised it for $3,295. Now, bear in mind I paid just £1,500 for this car. There should be a decent amount of profit left in it. I haven't spent a fortune on it, but what we're going to do shortly is park up somewhere scenic, and I'll talk you through all my costs. But I'm fairly sure off the top of my head, I've probably still got about £1,000 profit in this, maybe 1,200 quid, something like that. So all in all, well, providing I sell it, of course, all in all, a very worthwhile exercise. I'm pretty sure it'll sell quickly, really. I mean, we're coming into spring, and this is a price range convertible. I mean, who wouldn't want it, really, for £3 and a bit grand? Quite a decent car, really. Do you remember how this armrest kept flying off? Well, my mechanics glued it down, so no more rattling. I got a price for a new one, by the way, and it was something like £380, so like, no thank you, I think I'll just try some no more nails. I did a post with this on Instagram, and a few people said, oh, I wish it was the 2 litre, I'd have bought it if it was the 2 litre. But in all honesty, this little 1.6 is a pretty decent job. Even the 2 litre is not particularly quick, so what's the point? Okay then, right. Park up in my usual little lay-by then, which is getting worse by the day. It was always filled with, well, it was always full of potholes and stuff, but now they're proper craters. Right. Let's knock off the engine then. So, get my calculator out. I paid £1,500 for the car. My bill at my mechanics was, hang on a second, let me pull this up. So it's had 2 new tyres, service, MOT. That was £223 and 18 pence. Add that in. The cost of the valet at Tameside Detailing was £70. The cost of the number plates were £15. They were from Harrods in Marple. Is that it? I think that's it, you know. So my grand total then, that was a good guess, is £1,808 and 18 pence. So like I say, if I can get £3 for this, then I'll have made just shy of 1,200 quid, which is pretty good going, isn't it? Quite pleased with that. Try and get out of this lay-by without taking my sump off. My sump off. Yeah, I think that's about it. That's not a bad bad day's work. So thank you once again for watching. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure Make sure you subscribe. I can't speak. Make sure I need to go and get my bed. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done already. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I'll leave the links below. And yeah, cheers, guys. See you next time, when hopefully I don't have full-blown man flu. See you in a bit.